everybody, welcome back to Japan Questions Answered. Today we're going to talk about what Japanese people miss when they're abroad. And without further ado, let's start with the first item, which is...
Things run on time.
Yes, things run on time in Japan. I guess it's something you take for granted when you're living here, but when you go to other countries, you realize, you go to take a train or you go to an event, things don't start on the dot. But in Japan, we came back from our trip from Greece. I was surprised we got on the bus and the bus just went exactly when it was supposed to.
Yeah, granted, things might not run on time here as well, especially for commuter trains maybe.
Yeah.
But most of the
general,
cases,
yeah.
Unless there's any accidents or anything, then things run. And we kind of got burnt, especially in America, didn't we?
We got burned because we had a train that never arrived, let alone being late. We just had a train that never even came. I think it's just about things working. Things are smooth in Japan, very smooth, so...
Yeah, speaking of which, if you have an appointment with someone, then people will show up on time.
Yeah.
Unless this people is disrespectful or something. So there's no fashionably late kind of thing here.
Yeah, in general that doesn't happen, so you try to be on time for meetings, and yeah, I've become more punctual too. Not that I was never ever a late person, but I've become much more punctual, and even if you're late by 5 minutes you feel kind of guilty, so it's just a difference. Things run on time.
Number 2.
Item number 2 is convenience stores and vending machines. So I know you've already heard about this a million times, but there are vending machines and convenience stores pretty much at every corner in Japan. So it's just something you kind of take for granted, and when you can leave your apartments or your home and just go out, not even have to worry about taking any drinks or snacks, right?
Yeah, if maybe especially water, maybe?
Yes, because I drink a lot of water, but sometimes we just go and I don't have to bring it with me all the time.
Yeah, because when you go on a train, then they usually have a vending machine on the station.
Yeah, right on the platform they have all kinds of things you can buy.
And something I really, really missed in Europe is that these vending machines would have hot drinks.
Okay. Yeah, you're big on the hot drink thing. In the winter time, you can use the hot drinks to actually warm up your hands and stuff like that. So.
And it does feel good. So you can get some warm thing without going to a cafe or something, and you can just chill in a park or something. That is good.
It is nice. So it's something you take for granted, and we do miss it when we're abroad.
Plus, in convenience store, you can buy some booze too.
Yeah, you can buy alcohol at the drop of a hat, which is nice. You just walk down the street, get alcohol on the go.
Yeah.
Drinking in public. It's very good.
It's convenient, literally.
Literally.
So next, number 3.
Automated baths. Now, I got into the whole bath culture in Japan. Japanese people take baths at night. Generally, Westerners take showers in the morning. Now, I just take both. But at night, it is nice to have the bath, and usually the homes in Japan have these automated baths, right?
Yes.
We have this one here. You just press a button, you put the plug into the bath, you press the button and just set it and forget it, so.
Yeah, you can change the temperature and how much water you want in the bathtub.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overflow or anything.
Yeah, it just fills up, it doesn't overflow, and it's just warm, You might set it having some intention on using it within the next 30 minutes or whatever. You might not use it as soon as you meant to, but when you do go to that bath, it's still nice and warm. So it's very convenient, and I think it's something that is relaxing, especially when we were traveling.
And when in winter, maybe.
Yeah.
It's so good. You don't realize how cold your body was until you soak yourself in the bath. And if you soak yourself in the bath, you feel so relaxed, and your muscles kind of get, rejuvenated.
Yeah,
maybe.
and it just feels good. As I mentioned, we were traveling in Greece. It was nice. Sometimes we thought we wanted to come back and just take a bath after walking around all day, but we couldn't always do it depending on the hotel we were staying in, so.
Yeah, you started taking bath only a year ago, right? Since we lived together, and you said you missed having a bath in the night.
It's part of my nightly routine now, because usually I have to have some routine to fall asleep properly, and taking that bath is just something that relaxes me before going to bed. Okay, next item on the list, number 4, is chopsticks.
Chopsticks.
Now, Akina, some people think that chopsticks are a little bit barbaric because it's just basically 2 pieces of wood. But
it's so elaborate utensils. It requires so much skill. So if you're not
yeah, you need to
skilled,
develop
then...
the skills. I think for me, there's certain foods, most foods in the West, you know, in America or in Europe, you can eat them just fine with normal utensils. But certain foods like salad, I was in Greece trying to eat a salad. I had the freaking fork. I'm just trying to like puncture a piece of vegetable, and it's really hard sometimes. The thing's flying around, you know. You got those little cherry tomatoes, you try to puncture it, the thing just like zips off to the side. So to me, I want to have that chopstick just to grab that thing, put it into my mouth real nice.
Yeah, generally speaking, chopsticks are nice for salad, I guess.
Oh, it's nice.
Sometimes,
it's nice.
sometimes when I eat salad, some leaves are kind of too big for me. When I just use a fork.
Exactly.
Like I'm like
yeah, you're trying to put it in your mouth, and it's kind of just like flying everywhere. With those chopsticks, it's real precise.
Kind of, you know, you can kind of bite spot. Or like you can change the direction more easily.
Yeah,
or
you can
like,
kind of flip it around. If you try to flip the lettuce with your fork, it's just gonna fall off. So.
Or like maybe you can even fold it.
Yes, yeah, you can fold it. Yeah.
That's very convenient sometimes.
Right. Yeah, there's more control. Now the next item is what, Akina?
Rice, especially fresh one.
The fresh rice. I didn't really realize there was a difference in just white rice, the quality of white rice. To me, rice is rice. But after living in Japan, we have these really nice automatic rice cookers, and they make the rice really just like perfectly crisp on the outside, really warm and moist on the inside. And I didn't think that you could have such a big difference in rice, but
it's so good. You have to believe me. It's so good. Like you can maybe once you get used to it, maybe you understand it, or like I guess it's easy to tell. But if you have freshly made rice, it's so good. It's so simple, but so enjoyable.
Right.
The taste is like fresh and like steamy, sweet, and you could eat so much.
You can eat a lot of it when it's just finished right on our rice cooker here. I just want to just keep eating it because it's very good. But like, not only is it fresh, I think you can get freshly cooked rice in America for sure. But we went to some restaurants, like Asian restaurants. We were in this Cambodian restaurant in Boston, and like the rice, once I tasted that rice, I was like, whew, what's wrong with this? It tastes like really stale. It was really bad.
I think it's just the kind is different. The species is different.
Maybe it was a different rice species. I don't know. But the rice, I'm used to this rice now. So we had that rice in the restaurant. I was like, man, that's bad. So you got to get yourself some nice Japanese rice, freshly made in Japan.
Next one, no shoes inside.
Yeah, the no shoes inside thing, I think in a way it's pretty convenient in America. You just come back home, you don't have to take your shoes off, just walk around. It's actually pretty convenient.
It's just so wrong. Like, when I was a kid, I was watching this TV show or films maybe.
Yep.
And it was maybe like high school rom-com.
Okay.
I'm a queen of rom-com, by the way.
She loves rom-coms, yeah.
And the cute girl comes back home, goes into her room, and goes, like, you know,
just jumps
on the bed. I'm like, what?
With her shoes on.
Yeah. With the shoes, her shoes on. I'm like, what? You don't even take off your shoes? Like, why? Why?
I mean, yeah, like, it seems normal to me in America to keep your shoes on, but as far as being on beds and stuff, that seems a little wild. I think the plus side is when you have your shoes off in your apartment, then you know it's clean all the time. You can walk around in socks, or you can walk around just barefoot, and you don't have to worry about some dirt getting on your feet.
Yeah, and your feet should breathe, you know?
Your feet should breathe.
Otherwise, you get, you know, the nasty thing on your toe.
What, like foot fungus or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just different. I think overall it's better because it's just easier to keep the apartment clean if you're not bringing in dirt all the time. So taking your shoes off, I think it's a good thing. And now for item number 7, shops are open on Sundays and on most holidays. So I think, like, just in general, I take it for granted that I can walk up to any shop in Japan. As long as I show up before 9 p.m., it should be open. So how is that in other countries, Akina?
Well, when I lived in the UK, the shops would close at like 4 on Sundays.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not like a morning bird, so sometimes I want to go and shop like 5 p.m., 7 p.m.
Yes.
So I felt, I don't know, like, I think it's convenient. weekend if they're open.
Yeah, in America they'll be open later than 4 p.m. for sure, but at the same time, some shops are closed on Sundays or Mondays, and it's just hard to predict sometimes, and certain shops have really odd hours. And of course, on holidays they'll be closed. In Japan, they're open on any holiday, which sometimes in Japan that's the only time you can go. You're just too busy that you can't go except on a holiday. And yeah, they're basically open. Maybe not on New Year's Day, but otherwise they're open every day. Even on like Christmas, the shops are open. So
yeah, like when we went to Croatia or Greece,
yeah,
so like quite a lot of shops and restaurants were closed because it was winter time.
Yeah, you pretty much have to plan your whole itinerary around what might be closed. You might be trapped in a city or something because there's nothing happening when Christmas or New Year's happens. So
like we were in Dubrovnik 2 years ago or something, like
yeah.
that was like early January.
Yeah.
And many of the restaurants were closed.
Yeah, it was like a ghost town. So.
Yeah, we were surprised.
Yeah, that kind of thing doesn't really happen in Japan, so in a way it's good that you don't have to worry about it.
Number 8.
This is the meal variety within one meal. So in general in America, we eat a lot more quantity of foods, and if you go to a restaurant, you feel like you probably should get an appetizer and or a salad, then your main course, then a dessert. But each one of those items itself is like really massively big and could actually be just a meal in itself. So like if you want to eat a full meal with a lot of variety, you have to either eat a lot of food or just leave a lot of food, in which case you're wasting food, or you can share food with someone, which I like to do, but it's not so common sometimes. But in Japan, you can just get one meal that has like a whole bunch of different things in it.
Yeah, set meal.
Yeah, and it's not like that big that you can't finish it, you know?
Yeah, I guess it happens more often for lunch here, but we have a concept of a perfect meal which should contain like one soup, one staple, and 3 dishes.
Okay.
So we probably tend to have more variety in one meal. So I missed it when we were traveling, you know?
Yeah, you know, when we got to get a meal in Greece or anywhere, even in America, it's like you have to get one thing and it's just so big.
Yeah.
That one thing is just gonna take care of you for the rest of the night, you know?
And I feel bored from one thing. If I keep eating one big thing, then I feel like I just need to change the taste sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't necessarily get as bored as quickly. I can just eat a massive hunk of meat non-stop, but variety is nice. It's the spice of life. So having a meal with variety in it is good, and it's something we might miss sometimes.
I do.
And now for item number 9, which just so happens to be Japanese food in general, but there's specific things that we tend to miss. Now, Akina, you were telling me about ramen.
Yeah, I missed ramen a lot.
Yeah.
Like these days, I usually say my favorite Japanese food is ramen.
Okay.
This is because I used to live in the UK for a year.
Yeah.
And I missed ramen so much. And I used to live in Brighton, which is like south part of it's like a 1 hour south from London.
Yep.
And I was missing it so much, so I decided to go to London just to have a ramen.
Okay.
And I found this ramen shop in London, which had a good review. I paid like $20 or something, or maybe 2,000 yen.
It was twice as much as you'd usually pay, and
Yeah, and that sucked. It was so bad, and I was so sad, and that made me miss ramen even more.
Right. Yeah, I guess you didn't really realize how much you liked it until you were out of the country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's normal that foods from a country can be overpriced outside of that country and the quality's not as good. That's normal, but it's just obviously something we could miss. Me personally, I love sushi in Japan, and I have rarely had sushi outside of Japan now, but I wouldn't want to. Like, they do have good styles of sushi in America. They have their own different styles with, like, you know, the California rolls and the shrimp tempura inside of sushi. I think those would be good. But as far as just the nigiri sushi with the fish right on top, you know, that fresh fish, I couldn't have it outside of Japan because I think the fish quality is very bad, so I don't even want to try it. I'm afraid, actually.
Well, actually, it's not only about fish. When I was in the UK, again, I tried sushi from a chain called Wasabi, which is really popular, I guess, because you see everywhere. And just out of curiosity, I just had to try it. I think that was from King's Cross Station, and I had a bite, and I was like, oh my god, that was like a cucumber sushi. It was so like, I don't know, everything about the rice was so wrong. Like, it was falling apart. It's too hot. It was crumbling too much.
They add sugar sometimes. I don't know about the UK, but in America they add sugar to the rice. It's very weird.
Yeah, so I guess like ramen and sushi are too typical.
Yeah, they're stereotypical, but at the same time, we miss them.
Yeah, I guess there's some reason that these are so popular.
Yeah. Alright, so the next item number 10 is no tipping. Now I think we might have talked about this in earlier videos, but just in general, it's nice to not have to tip in Japan. The concept of tipping, I agree with the concept of tipping. Like, someone does a good job, give them more money. I like that idea. But in actual practice, it seems like the service in Japan is very good, and people don't expect a tip. In fact, they wouldn't know what to do if you gave them one. So actually, in practice, the service is very good without having to tip.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just good to know what the total price will be on the menu.
Yeah.
Like if I go to America and I could have a nice meal or something, I constantly have to calculate how much the meal is gonna be in the end.
Yeah.
Like if we have $30 something, then it's not really $30, is it? Right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I order $30 in, then I have to tip like maybe like 80%, 20%. That means what?
Then if you have good service, you're like, okay, I gotta give a good tip. Bad service, you want to give a bad tip, but it can't be too bad or else you're the bad person, right? It's you, somehow. And our last item on the list, item number 11, is the restaurant service button, which a lot of restaurants have, and it's just something that's really convenient. If you have a server, you can just press the button.
Yeah. Ding ding.
Someone comes to your table. Now, not every restaurant has this, so I can't say that it's something I wish actually every place had it. But when they do have it, it's so amazing. You can just press the button, someone comes, asks what you want, then they go away. But usually in America, the server's coming when you're in mid-bites or mid-conversation. It's just kind of weird.
Hello, everything okay?
Yeah. Do you have any space for dessert or all these questions?
Yeah, by the way, I don't like the question. I feel so pressured to have dessert.
They're pressuring you to eat up. So yeah, I don't mind people talking to me, but at the same time, it's nice to have that little button just to press.
Ding, ding.
Then the server just comes.
Yeah, and you don't really have to go like, try to get attention.
Yeah, well, you do have to do that sometimes in Japan. So in that way, I wish that every place had the button, but maybe someday. So that was it for our list of 11 things that we miss when we're abroad. But we actually made a list of 11 things that we wish we could have in Japan. These are things that we miss from abroad, and we haven't quite made the video yet, but it'll be coming out pretty soon. And when we do, we're gonna have that link right about here.
Oh, maybe you can subscribe and wait for it.
Yeah, that's an even better idea. So thanks a lot for watching this video, everybody. I hope you have a real nice day.